everybody.
Oh, thank God.
And God bless the United States of America.
Is it Friday already?
Hey, this is great, man.
Thank God it's Friday!
3, 2, 1.
Looks like we made it!
Yes, indeedy, folks. It looks like we made it this Friday edition of the Jerry Doyle Show. JD here, great to have you on board. Friday, favorite day of the week. It's just the day before the weekend. Good to have you take some of your time to spend it with us here on the program where intellectual anarchy is encouraged and nurtured. For now, we always do appreciate that. Marcelo working the boards, Brad helping out on the show. Emails at the website, and here's the poll question for you today. Not that this is leading in any way. I don't want you to think a certain way about a certain someone based upon the way I do the setup to the question, but here it goes. Social issues suck up Rick Santorum. Dismisses the notion of personal autonomy, saying, quote, most conservatives understand that individuals can't go it alone, and radical individualism has never succeeded. So what do you say to that? 3% of you say, I agree with the social issue suck-up. 47% say, I couldn't disagree more with Mr. Suck-up. 25% say, he's an extreme right-wing nut job. And 25% say, hey, Ricky, can you help me with my answer? You can answer it there at the website or here at 800-876-4123. I look at these, to me, it's not just this right-wing extremist nut job Rick Santorum kind of stuff. I think what bothers me most about both the far left and the far right is that they're so far out on the extremes, they have no connection to where most of the country lies, where most of the country kind of resides in its ideological bent. It's the same when I see these liberal, lefty, lunatic fringe groups that want to tell me what I can eat, what I can drive, what kind of car I can have, how much I'm going to pay when I go, how much, what kind of fuel I have to put in. It's like you whack job lefties way out there. Just leave me alone. Leave me to my own devices. And it's the same thing with these social issue architects that want to tell me what it is that I'm supposed to do in my life. And it's on both sides of the political extremes that control the political parties. And for whatever reason, the parties let them get away with it. It's not a party that I want to be a party to. That's why I left the Republican Party. I don't know why people still identify with this whack job loony Democrat Party. They're not liberals. They're not progressives. They're just nut jobs that think that they can orchestrate every aspect of our lives, that they control everything from beginning, middle to end. They can run every business, every entity. They can do anything. It's like they're superhuman. They can fly backwards and make the earth go in the other direction. We'll all get younger. These guys can't get out of bed in the morning and tie their shoes without someone doing a focus group to tell them whether the left lace goes over the top of the right lace or the right lace goes over the top of the left lace, and then we got to get some committee together to discuss it. And then they say, well, this is the way we think it ought to be done. Just shut up and leave me alone. Just leave me alone. And this is the problem I have with how the Republican Party goes too far, especially with this nut job, Rick Santorum. This guy is a right-wing evangelical nut job. He is so far out there. The notion that this guy says personal autonomy is something that doesn't exist in America. Has this guy read the Constitution? Does he have any understanding about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness? The pursuit of happiness. Not the guarantee of what you, Santorum, think my happiness will be once you've decided for me. Not just Santorum, any of these other nut jobs. Any of these other lunatics out there that think that their way is the right way, and if it's not their way, then you go hit the highway. Well, why don't you guys just hit the highway and leave the rest of us to our own devices? This is what Rick Santorum said. This is an interview he did in 2006. Oh, I know. He's evolved since then. No, he doesn't believe in evolution. He's chastened since then. That's right. He's grown since then. He's had an epiphany since then. But this is what he said in 2006. One of the criticisms I make is to what I refer to as more of a libertarianish right. The left has gone so far left, and the right in some respects has gone so far right, that they touch each other. They come around in the circle. He says this whole idea of personal autonomy, well, I don't think most conservatives hold that point of view. They have this idea that people should be left alone, be able to do whatever they want to do. Government should keep our taxes down and keep our regulations low, that we shouldn't get involved in the bedroom, that we shouldn't get involved in cultural issues. He said, well, that's not how traditional conservatives view the world. And I think most conservatives understand that individuals can't go it alone. That there is no such society that I am aware of where we've had radical individualism and that it succeeds as a culture, end quote. No society that you can think of where radical individualism has succeeded? Does this guy know what country he lives in? Does he have any understanding of what a rugged individualist nation we are? Go west, young man. I mean, if we didn't have rugged individualism, the entire right side of the country would be underwater from everybody standing on Plymouth Rock. People decided, no, there's something else out there. There's some other place I want to explore. Some other life that I want to live. Some other place that I want to go. Some other dream or desire that I have. Rugged individualism? This guy doesn't think that there's any country where that has ever been tried and succeeded? And why don't the Republicans purge themselves of these lunatics like Rick Santorum and Newt Gingrich? Or is this the purging of the Republican Party? I don't care what the left does because they're lunatics. It doesn't matter to me. They can worship at the First Church of the Gooey Death, and they can go save the gay gray whale, and they can whatever. It doesn't matter to me. They're lunatics. But the lunatics on the right are equally troubling to me. And the fact that the lunatics, these political turds, have floated to the top of the punch bowl, like Newt Gingrich and Rick Santorum, and people are out there cheering them on. Oh, Ricky, you're so fine. You're so fine. You blow my mind. Hey, Ricky, go away. And why don't you make them go away? Why do you continue? This is a guy, folks. Here it is. I'm reading it in my currently nicotine-stained fingers for all you constitutionalists, all you Republican stalwarts that say it's about the Constitution, the Founding Fathers, and the rule of law. This is a guy who says personal autonomy need not apply. This is the same garbage that the Republicans rejected when Hillary Clinton told us it took a village. It doesn't take a village. It doesn't take a village. A village helps because every village has to have a place where an idiot could reside, and apparently Rick Santorum has found his in the Republican Party. Individuals can't go it alone? Radical individualism has never succeeded? That's the standard bearer, one of the standard bearers you have for the Republican Party going forward. And you wonder why this guy got booed in New Hampshire by a bunch of college students? Not just because of gay marriage. It's just because he comes across as one of these nerdy, douchey, know-it-all. Just, he's the guy on the couch in Animal House with Juglish and Muhammad. Sit over here with all the other rejects. This is where you belong. You're not allowed at the party. We're going to let you in the building, but you're not going to be a member of the party. You belong on the couch with all the other people who we don't want to associate with. But the Republican Party rushes to these nut jobs like Newt Gingrich and Rick Santorum. This is a guy who's basically saying what Obama is saying. Life, liberty, and the guarantee of happiness as the government decides. You don't want that from Obama. Why do you want it from Santorum? Not left up to your own devices? Not that you get to make your own decisions? Not that you have a right to succeed or to fail, to start a business and succeed or to start a business and fail? To invest money and make money, to invest money and lose money? To decide where you want to live, what kind of house you want to live in, what size of a house you want to live in, what car you want to drive or cars you want to drive, what light bulbs you want to put? No. Rick Santorum. And he says, most conservatives understand that individuals can't go it alone. I thought that was one of the stalwarts of being a conservative. Individualism, the right of self-determination, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That if I succeed, I can pat myself on the back. And if I fail, I have myself to look at in the mirror and say, what went wrong, Jerry? But Rick Santorum is like, well, sure, we're all about being so much different than the Democrats. But it's how we decide you should live your life. And by what benchmarks we're going to determine you to be moral and decent. You know, if you look at the whole notion of heaven and hell, well, think about this for a second. If there was no heaven, do you think society would be better or worse? If there was no ultimate day of judgment, like I'm only doing what I'm doing because just in case I have to live in eternity, I want to make sure that if there is this afterlife, that I get to participate in the attic and not the basement part of eternity. Do you think we'd be better or worse as a society? Do you think if man left to his own determination, to his own autonomy, to his own values and to his own principles, do you think this would turn into Sodom and Gomorrah everywhere? Or do you think that the basic timber of mankind is good and decent and honest and kind and forthright and moral? Now, where that comes from, that's a whole different conversation. But I don't want some man on earth telling me how I have to live my life so that I can go spend the rest of my time with the big guy in the sky. I don't want man here telling me that we only answer to God's law, but acting like God on earth, telling us what laws of man that I have to live my life by.
The Jerry Doyle Show.
I don't answer to Rick Santorum. I despise Rick Santorum. He is just so typical of what is so wrong with the Republican Party, as is with Newt Gingrich. And hopefully these are the death throes. You know what's interesting? The younger Rick Santorum gets rejected by the youth, where the older Ron Paul gets embraced by the younger people who think the old guy is hipper than the young guy. Fascinating. Rick Santorum. No go-it-alone mentality. No rugged individualism. No pursuit of happiness. I guess you'll just be ecstatic if you vote for him and he becomes the president. Yippee! Party on! 800-876-4123.
Well, I really believe that it takes a village.
Jerry Doyle.